The sun hadn't broken the horizon yet, but the heat was already building. Dana Keller pulled off the highway and turned down the gravel road leading to Fort Prairie Ridge. The road hadn't changed, still lined with sagging wire fences and dry brush, still thick with dust that stuck to everything. She drove a decade-old Silverado, faded red, dented along the passenger side from a winter storm years back. The cab was clean, no stickers, no flags, just her duffel in the back seat and a coffee she hadn't touched. The gate guard glanced up, waved her through after checking the paper pass on her dash. No questions. He didn't look twice. She parked near the admin building. Most of the other spots were empty. Far off, she could see formations gathering, young soldiers stretching, nervous pacing. She sat behind the wheel for another minute. Engine off. Hands still on the steering wheel. Her uniform was regulation, technically. PT gear, gray shirt, black shorts, both faded. The name had been washed out from the fabric, but if you knew what to look for, you could read where the letters once were. Keller, no rank, no insignia. Nothing that declared who she'd been. The boots were well worn. Standard issue, broken in the hard way, sand-colored and scarred at the toes. She stepped out slow. No rush in her movement, no hesitation either. Just method. She slung the duffel over her right shoulder and adjusted the strap without thinking. The walk to the building was quiet. No one stopped her. A few glanced her way, but it was a look reserved for retirees or ghosts. Relevance gone. Nothing to see. Inside, the air was artificial. Cold, dry, and filtered. Fluorescent lights flickered in the corners. The smell of cleaning agent and old paper mixed with the stale scent of burnt. Coffee from a machine in the corner. A young specialist sat at the desk. Late 20s, no deployment patch. Clean skin, clean sleeves. A lanyard clipped to his belt like it meant something. He looked up, neutral, bored. "Morning, ma'am. Can I help you?" She handed him a folded paper, thick stock, creases sharp. He unfolded it, eyes scanning without focus. His attention wandered before settling on her shirt. "You can't wear that unless you're active duty. That's base policy." She didn't move, didn't speak. She waited. The specialist turned the paper sideways, tapped it like he was trying to shake more information out. A civilian worker leaned from a side desk. A woman with reading glasses and a badge on a cord. Regulations clear. You gotta be assigned to wear the uniform. Otherwise, it's just dress up. The other civilian, a man with a mustache and no neck, chuckled. She should know better. Right, can't just throw on a shirt and walk onto a base? Dana stood still. Not frozen, just immobile in that specific way that comes from training. Breathing steady, eyes on the desk. She waited as if time was someone else's problem. The specialist frowned at the screen. "There's a Keller on the list, but it says D. Keller. You sure you're supposed to be here?" She pointed at the document. Her hand moved slow, deliberate, no wasted motion. Volunteer support. It said, "Cleared by the command group 3 weeks ago." He didn't read it again. Just turned toward the side hallway. "I'll check with the supervisor." He disappeared behind a door marked Admin Officer. The click of the latch sounded loud in the quiet. Behind her, the other civilians kept sorting papers. She turned slightly, enough to glance through the glass toward the training field. The sun was rising now, gold light across concrete. The cadets had started warm-ups. Some were laughing, others already sweating. She remembered that kind of fear. It had taste. She didn't sit, just stood there, weight balanced evenly, one hand still gripping the duffel. The hallway behind the desk hummed with electronics, cooling fans, printer gears, no urgency. A poster on the wall read, "Excellence in all we do." Below it, the corners peeled from the pinboard. The door opened again. A new voice entered before the man did. Confident, quick, decisive. Lieutenant. Early 30s. His boots were too clean. His belt buckle shined. The bars on his chest were polished to flash in the overhead light. He walked like he'd never been outside CONUS. Like he knew policy better than terrain. "Ms. Keller, I understand there's some confusion regarding your authorization." She didn't correct him. She let him finish. "You're on the list. That's not in question. But your attire isn't regulation. The PT uniform is reserved for active duty personnel performing official tasks. He turned, took something from the specialist's hands. A navy blue t-shirt in a clear plastic bag. Civilian approved. Fort logo on the chest. We'd love to have you help, but we'll need you in this. Dana looked at the shirt, then at the lieutenant. She didn't answer. She bent, picked up her bag, and turned for the door. The air behind her was still. Nobody followed. The specialist exhaled. The civilians returned to their work. Outside, the sun had cleared the rooftops. Light glinted off the metal bleachers. The track shimmered with heat. She walked past the forming groups. No one spoke to her. She chose an empty spot on the concrete, set the bag beside her, and sat. Her hands rested on her knees. Her shoulders were relaxed, but upright. She watched the cadets, watched their awkward rhythm. The early missteps of people still learning how to be who they thought they already were. She didn't frown. She didn't shift. She just sat, still and silent, as if she'd always been there, and in a way, she had. Dana bent down slowly, gripping the handle of her duffel. Her left shoulder rolled back, her shirt lifting just enough. A strip of skin between her shoulder blades caught the light. 3 numbers. Black ink. Faded but still sharp. Etched high, just below the neckline. 1, 3, 7, 5. Staff Sergeant Marco Rodriguez was walking past the admin hallway. Clipboard in hand. He didn't see her face. He saw the tattoo. His body locked. The clipboard slipped. Plastic hit tile with a hollow crack. He didn't speak. Didn't move, his eyes fixed on those numbers. The owl beneath them, wings outstretched, talons resting on crossed blades. Small, clean, deadly. He'd seen it once before, years back. In a basement briefing room at Fort Belvoir, intel prep for an upcoming rotation. Nothing official. Just shadows between the lines. Top clearance. Burn after reading kind of file. Detachment 1375. Night owl. He blinked. The room around him kept moving. Phones rang. Keys tapped. A voice from the back asked if he was okay. He didn't answer. In the file, 1375 had been assigned to Northern Gate during a NATO pullout. April 2001, the fallback route collapsed. Reinforcements failed to arrive. The detachment held the line. 43 minutes against a full enemy push. Light weapons, 2 radios, no air support, no exfil plan, only one came back. Command classified the op, files locked. Personnel listed as DNR, destroyed, not recorded. Rodriguez remembered the footnote. Survivor's name redacted. Unknown female, presumed retired. No unit insignia, no formal commendation. Mission sanitized, and here she was, picking up a duffel bag like it weighed nothing. Wearing PTs too faded for regulation, hair tied back with a rubber band. Rodriguez stepped backward, 1 pace, then another. He turned, walked fast. No salute, no alert, just motion. He left the clipboard on the floor. No one noticed. Inside the admin office, the specialist was still adjusting a stack of training rosters. One of the civilian assistants talked about coffee filters. The other was still staring at her monitor, eyes glazed. Dana didn't look back. She reached the front door, pushed it open. The handle clicked into place behind her. The sound barely carried. Rodriguez ducked into the side corridor. His pace changed. More precise. Controlled now, he took the back stairwell 2 steps at a time. The comms room sat on the 2nd floor, tucked near the S2 office. No one saw him enter. The door locked behind him with a magnetic snap. The room was small, quiet, thick walls, no windows. 1 rotary phone in the corner, red handset, used twice in 10 years. He lifted it, dialed a number, 10 digits, burned into memory. It rang once. Then again, a voice answered, male, calm, no name. Go ahead, Sergeant. Rodriguez kept his voice low. I've got eyes on a tattoo. Detachment 1375. Confirmed visual, 3 digits, owl and blades, silence. You're certain? Yes, sir. I saw the briefings. I remember the files. It's not fake ink. Status, she's on post. Civilian volunteer. She was just told to leave the admin building. Uniform violation. Another silence. Rodriguez imagined keys typing, paper shuffling. Somewhere a room full of quiet men making calls. Then, Sergeant, you will notify your CO immediately. She is to be granted full access and total respect. Understood. Yes, sir. Rodriguez hesitated. Sir, no one else here knows who she is. They will. And Sergeant, this call never happened. If she's disrespected again, someone in your chain will answer to people without name tapes. Click. Rodriguez stood still, phone still in his hand. He exhaled. On the desk, a small monitor showed base cameras. One view pointed toward the track. Dana sat on the lowest row of bleachers, hands resting on her knees, head tilted forward just slightly, watching, not moving. The wind caught the hem of her shirt again. Just enough. He turned off the monitor. Downstairs, in the admin hallway, the clipboard still sat on the floor. The specialist hadn't noticed. The civilians didn't care. Someone had set a mug of coffee on top of a stack of unopened mail. Outside, the recruits had begun their first circuit, running in loose formation. Their cadence shouted, uneven. Dana didn't stand. Didn't wave, didn't correct anything. She just watched, eyes locked on their stride, measuring. Rodriguez emerged from the stairwell, face blank. He moved with urgency now. Clean, sharp steps, not panicked, intent. He crossed the admin lobby without speaking, found the front desk. Looked for Lieutenant Harris, not present. Found a junior officer instead. Gave a clear order. Sir, you need to contact the base commander. Right now. Why, he kept his voice low. Because we've got someone on site wearing numbers that never existed. The officer frowned. Rodriguez handed him a sealed envelope from the back desk. Start here. Then get out of her way. He walked off again. Clipboard forgotten. On the bleachers, Dana shifted slightly. The sun had moved. She moved with it. Adjusted her posture, rested her forearms on her thighs, eyes forward. She didn't know about the phone call, didn't care. The recruits rounded the corner, their steps uneven, sweat forming. Breath heavy. Still figuring out rhythm, she waited. And the base, slowly, began to notice her. Rodriguez moved fast down the back corridor. He passed 2 open offices without stopping. His boots didn't echo. Too much weight in his step, too much control. The comms room sat behind a steel door marked Secure Access, no windows. Swipe card, green light, the lock released with a low magnetic snap. He stepped inside, pulled the door shut, turned the deadbolt. No cameras in here, no audio. The air was cold, recycled. Fluorescent tubes buzzed faintly. One light flickered, stuttering along the far wall. He stood still, listened to his own breathing, then crossed to the corner desk. The phone sat mounted in a reinforced cradle, red plastic, dust in the seams. He lifted the receiver. Static. A small note sat under the receiver. 1 line, 10 digits, black ink, standard font, no label. He dialed. No ringback. Just a pause, then a click. A voice answered. Mail. Clipped. Go ahead, Sergeant. Rodriguez swallowed. This is Staff Sergeant Marco Rodriguez, Fort Prairie Ridge. I need to verify a personnel identification. Proceed. Subject is female. Civilian volunteer, tattoo on upper back, black ink, numbers 1375. Insignia below. Owl with outstretched wings, perched above crossed blades. Silence. Rodriguez waited. Where is she on post? Southeast bleachers near track 3. She was removed from admin this morning. Uniform violation. You saw the ink yourself. Yes, sir. Clear and direct. It matches images from classified annex briefs. I attended the Belvoir Prep in 2004. It's her... Another pause. Longer. That designation has not been spoken in 17 years. I know, sir. Status of current command they don't know. She was dismissed like any retiree walking through in old gear. Nobody read the file. A faint breath came through the line. Not static. Movement. You will notify your chain of command immediately. This individual is to receive all courtesy. Full access. No questions. No exceptions. Yes, sir. You're not to engage her directly. You will brief your CO only. They will handle the rest. Understood. Another pause. Sergeant, sir, you never made this call. I understand. If she is disrespected again, that base will receive a formal visit. From people who don't wear patches, Rodriguez stood still. The line went dead. He set the receiver down, gently, checked the secure phone line light. Still green, still secure. His hands trembled for a second. He pressed them flat against the desk, breathed once, shallow and sharp. The light on the desk flickered again. He turned, walked to the door, unlocked it, exited without hesitation. The hallway outside buzzed with low conversation. A printer whirred somewhere. Someone laughed down the corridor. The world hadn't changed, but Rodriguez had. He moved with purpose now. Precise. Not fast. Not slow. Just enough. He found the XO near the motor pool assignment board. Leaned in. Spoke 5 sentences. No names. Just action. Then he was gone. Down by the track, Dana hadn't moved. Same posture. Same eyes. The sun had shifted, casting sharper shadows. Cadets moved in steady rhythm now, but some had started glancing toward her. One had stopped. Rodriguez returned to admin, picked up his clipboard. Dust on the edge. A coffee ring he didn't remember leaving. He wiped it clean. Watched the hallway. The air felt different. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. Colonel Harris crossed the tarmac without speaking. His boots hit pavement with measured weight. Uniform pressed, nameplate gleaming, ribbons aligned. No aid followed. No clipboard in hand, only silence. The track was active. Cadets paced through drills, cadence low, scattered. A whistle blew somewhere near the flagpole. He passed the bleachers. Didn't look at them, eyes forward, face unreadable. He moved like terrain changed around him, not the other way around. Dana sat on the bottom row, one foot flat, the other angled outward. Hands resting on her thighs. She didn't flinch, didn't stand. He stopped 6 feet in front of her. Wind picked up. Just enough to shift the hem of her shirt, enough for the numbers to show. 1375. Black. Clean. Burned into skin. His voice was calm, not loud. That ink on your back, where'd you earn it? She met his gaze. Northern Gate. April 2001. He didn't blink. For a second. The sound dropped. No cadence. No shouts. Just wind, dust moving across asphalt. He raised his right hand. Palm flat, elbow squared. Salute. Sharp. Formal. Deliberate. It held. People noticed. Recruits turned mid-stretch. One instructor stopped mid-pace count. A second lieutenant at the admin window leaned forward. Someone near the motor pool dropped a wrench. Dana didn't move. Her face didn't change. She held his eyes. She didn't return the salute. Didn't need to. The gesture hung in the air like thunder without flash. Harris lowered his hand. No extra motion. Nothing theatrical. He spoke again. His voice carried, not loud, just clear. If she wants to wear that uniform, she wears it. If she wants to support training, she supports it. If anyone has a problem with that, they bring it to me. He turned. No fanfare. No nod. Walked back the way he came. The bleachers stayed silent. Dana stood, smooth, no shift in breath. She picked up the duffel, slung it over one shoulder. She stepped off the concrete, onto the dirt, onto the track. The cadets didn't cheer, didn't speak, but no one looked away. Colonel Harris closed the door behind them. No one else entered. The office was cool, quiet, blinds drawn, fluorescent light overhead. No decorations, just function, file cabinets along one wall. A photo of a younger Harris in desert fatigues, standing beside a helicopter. Pinned near the monitor, Dana didn't sit until he gestured. She placed her duffel on the floor, upright, didn't remove her cap, didn't speak. He sat behind the desk, woke the monitor. Fingers moved across the keyboard with practiced speed. Login, clearance code. Second verification, a third, a low beep. He pulled a folder from a locked drawer, stamped with 3 lines of red ink. One corner singed, probably older than most officers on post. He opened the file, pages inside, all numbered. A few had black boxes covering entire paragraphs. Others were reduced to a single line of confirmed action. He read aloud. Detachment 1375, classified designation Night Owl, composed of 5 personnel, Assigned to Northern Gate fallback during NATO withdrawal. April 2001. She didn't nod. Engagement duration 43 minutes. Primary enemy force unknown. Estimated strength company-sized. No air support. Final radio contact recorded at 0643 hours. 4 confirmed KIA. 1 survivor. Name withheld. He looked up. She didn't blink. The Bronze Star citation was submitted May 14, 2001. Not entered into formal award records. Designation sealed. Authorization code ends in Sierra 9 Charlie. He turned the page. Paper clipped to the next sheet was folded once. He slid it out. Typed. No letterhead. 1 paragraph. Signed by a general now retired, possibly dead. Recognition deferred due to operational compromise. Identity of survivor to remain undisclosed. Unit status expunged from records under Directive Echo 2. He set the paper aside. She didn't reach for it. He opened a second drawer, pulled out a blank authorization sheet, slid it into the printer tray. His fingers hovered over the keyboard again. This time the clearance override took longer. A second code was required. He entered it without looking at her. The printer warmed, hummed. 1 page slid out. He reviewed it. Training support verification. Subject Keller, Dana M. Clearance level temp spec 4A. Authorized for uniformed volunteer status through command override. He signed it. Ink pen, not digital. He didn't pass it across the desk. He placed it flat, centered. She reached for it. Folded once. Tucked into her duffel. No words exchanged. He leaned back. You held that line for 43 minutes. No backup, no evac, no resupply. Her eyes didn't shift. Someone had to. He opened a drawer. Removed a small box. Black. Felt-lined. Unmarked. He placed it on the desk. She looked at it. Bronze Star. It's yours. It always was. She didn't reach. Don't need medals. Colonel. He didn't argue. Her voice was even. The people who mattered got out. That's enough. He nodded once. Not solemn. Just respectful. A gust of wind rattled the blinds. Outside, the cadence picked up again. She stood. He stood with her. At the door, he paused. That paper is good anywhere on this base. Uniform. Access. Chain of command stops with me. She didn't thank him. She opened the door, walked out. The metal box stayed on the desk. Closed. Untouched. He didn't move to put it away. The track was loose gravel, packed tight from years of boots. The sun had climbed higher. Light shimmered across concrete edges and chain-link shadows. Formation stood in 2 files, recruits adjusting socks, tightening laces. Shirts already damp. No idle talk. Just quiet focus. The training NCO raised his clipboard, called names, paused when he saw hers. Dana Keller. She stepped into position, rear left. No reaction from the line. She didn't announce herself, didn't greet anyone, no eye contact. Her shirt bore no name, no rank. Just the faded gray of years gone and duties done. The NCO stepped forward. Pace set by Keller. 2 laps. 3-mile interval. They moved. The formation took shape slowly, rhythm unstable at first. A few legs too fast, 1 heel already scuffed, breath uneven. Dana kept front left. She didn't push. She didn't drift. Each step was equal. Each toe strike deliberate. She moved like a watch. Not fast, not slow. Just constant. Her arms stayed tight, shoulders down, elbows swung low. No bounce in her stride. Gravity worked through her, not against. The cadence caller tried to keep tempo. Left, right, left. But his voice faltered. The rhythm didn't match her pace. He gave up by the first turn. 1 recruit fell back. Another surged too far. Dana didn't look. Her pace held. Mouth closed. Nose breath. Inhale. 2 steps. Exhale. 2. She ran with the calm of repetition, of nights in sand, of roads through forests, of laps in places that no longer existed. By the second turn, sweat dripped from the youngest in formation. Her own shirt was barely damp. At the half-mile mark, the NCO looked at his watch, shook his head once. Not slow, not casual, just firm. She maintained. The gravel shifted under boots behind her. No one else glided. Their feet scraped, ankles tilted. She stayed on line. Didn't favor edges. Took turns on the curve with the inside leg tight, always balanced. Always forward. The pack stretched. One recruit dropped out, breathing ragged. Hands on knees. Dana's breath stayed steady. Chest rising just enough, eyes forward. Another mile. A second recruit dropped pace. The rest fell in behind her. Not by command. By choice. Their stride shifted. Matched hers. They studied her back. Not the tattoo. The movement. The line of her shoulders. The way her boots barely left the ground. No waist. No show. They kept chasing her rhythm. Not her. At the final curve, she opened stride by half a foot. No signal. Just motion. They followed. Hearts pounding. Breath loud now. But they moved with her. When the run ended, the formation staggered. She stood. One hand on her waist, not panting, eyes downrange. One cadet turned and looked at her. Not a word. Just nodded once. She didn't nod back. Didn't need to. She walked off the track alone. Still even. Still smooth. Behind her. They watched. Not because she was fast. Because she didn't try to be. Dana sat alone on the concrete steps outside the motor pool. Her shirt stuck to her back. The wind had picked up. It carried the smell of oil and hot metal. The run was over. Recruits scattered, some toward showers, others toward water jugs. Quiet replaced cadence. A private approached, boots scuffed, young, maybe 19. Her cover tucked under one arm. She hesitated 3 paces away. Ma'am Dana didn't look up right away. Just nodded once. Permission granted. The private stepped closer. Were you with Night Owl? Dana didn't move. Her eyes stayed on the motor pool. One truck had a sagging rear axle. It was classified. The girl shifted her weight, held her cover tighter. My cousin served in Afghanistan. Said stories floated around. Nobody believed them. Dana finally turned her head. They weren't supposed to. The private swallowed, looked at the ground, then back at Dana. Did you really hold the gate alone? Dana didn't answer. She didn't nod. She didn't shake her head, just looked past the girl. Toward the road beyond the wire. The silence held. The private's voice softened. Why'd you come back? Dana stood, slow, deliberate. She brushed dirt from her hands, then looked the girl in the eye. Because someone has to. The girl waited. Dana adjusted the strap of her duffel, rested it on one shoulder. Someone has to show you what it means to stand when everything else falls. What it costs? Why it's worth it? She didn't explain further. Didn't need to. The girl lowered her gaze. Yes, ma'am. Dana walked away. Same pace as always. Behind her. The girl stood still. Nothing more was said. Nothing more needed.